On this episode of Comic Book Orange, Dr. Horrible sets his evil eye on comics, a look into the magical music of Phonogram, and an interview with artist Cameron Stewart. Wah ha 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 ha. So that's still coming along. Anyways, Bad Horse got me in touch with his cousin Dark Horse, and they're putting out a comic of me this week. Thing is,
I would have preferred a sequel. Just Whedon, I'll leave you with that. But Zack is back with a prequel, and I'll not turn my nose up at that. Besides, Penny will be in this issue, and I can see her again. And maybe I can change the past, or maybe it's all predestined. Either way, I found a way to get my revenge on him. 'Cause my one shot from Dark Horse is in.
While fans of the popular online series Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog wait for a sequel, Dark Horse is publishing this one-shot showing the Bad Doctor's origin and his first run-in with his charismatic nemesis, Captain Hammer. Zack Whedon starts the story off with some sweet insight into Billy's childhood and the events that led him to become Dr. Horrible. The majority of the comic, however, follows a simple one-on-one battle between Brain and Brawn. Joelle Jones tells the story using a very cartoony style that illustrates facial expressions really well. Fans of the original live-action series will be pleased to see how well the style captures subtle gestures identifiable to actors Neil Patrick Harris and Nathan Fillion. The Dr. Horrible one-shot is a fun read made for fans, and although we give it an average rating of 3 oranges, we have no doubt they'll love it more. Also coming out this week, Kieron, Gillen, and Jamie McKelvie have received well-earned praise for Phonogram, with issue 5 of the 7-part second volume coming out today. Their world of modern magic and music is delivered with both sharp art and dialogue. Pick up the first trade and back issues of this 4.5 orange series. DC Comics collects the Battle for the Cowl miniseries, as various Batman sidekicks fight it out to inherit the mantle of the Caped Crusader. Tony Daniel writes and draws the story competently, but you can predict the ending a mile off. It's a 2-orange affair. Another collection coming out this week is the 5th volume of Wasteland by Antony Johnston. We gave the series 3 oranges when we first reviewed it, but the many guest artists on one-off issues and the special all-color 25th issue pushes this to 4 oranges. This week we interview Cameron Stewart, co-creator of Sea Guy, an artist on Batman and Robin, and Catwoman.
How do you keep up with Grant Morrison's manic scripts?
You know, it's funny. Whenever I get a new Grant Morrison script, the first thing that goes through I read it and I go, oh, God. But then after a while, like I'll read it a couple more times and I start to, sketch things out, start putting my initial impressions down on paper, and it starts getting easier. It's actually always a challenge. It's always a lot of fun to work on stuff that he's done because it's so creative and so imaginative, particularly with the case of Sea Guy. Like, I'm drawing stuff that not only have I never drawn before, but nobody's ever drawn it before. So it's a lot of fun to work on. It's not, I won't lie, it is a challenge for sure, but it's always pretty creatively rewarding.
What writers would you really like to work with?
It's I've worked with a lot of the writers that when I was growing up that I would have wanted to work with. I had like my holy trinity of Grant Morrison, Peter Milligan, and Alan Moore, and I've got 2 of them. And I would love to work with Alan Moore on something because it seems like every artist that works with Alan Moore does the best work of their career. Unfortunately, I think, as he withdraws from the comics industry more and more, it's pretty unlikely that I'll get to work with him, but that would be the number one guy.
You've worked with a lot of great writers. Do you think you'll ever start writing yourself?
I actually am writing something. I do a weekly serialized comic on the web that I write and draw. It's the first it's called Sin Titulo. It's something I've been working on for a couple of years now. I write and draw it every week, and it's really satisfying to work on my own stuff and to create a story. As much as I've been incredibly lucky, incredibly fortunate to work with all these amazing writers, there's nothing really that replaces the satisfaction of kind of writing your own story and drawing your own story. And I'm hoping that it will open some doors for me as a writer as well, because I've been drawing comics professionally for almost 10 years now, and I want to expand that career and my skill set and start, writing stuff as well. So I hope to do more of it.
For more information on Cameron Stewart, check out his website at cameron-stewart.com or follow him on Twitter as @CameronMStewart. Well, that's it for this week. For a free MP3 of today's song, go to comicbookorange.com/extras. And I'll see you next week for another episode of A Comic Book Orange. This week we interview C Guy, co-creator. No, fucking hell, whoops.